Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Two Guys and a Mic. This is a special Monday night edition. We didn't have a show yesterday because we knew that the Browns played tonight. So we're giving you guys a show on a Monday. I think this is our first Monday show. I did not introduce myself. I am RP. Excuse my voice. I'm literally coming right in the house from the game tonight. I am RP again, one of your hosts.
And I'm your other host, Big Sean. We're both in a grumpy mood right now.
Grumpy, man.
Sleepy.
We could call this episode Grumpy Old Men, actually.
Exactly.
I actually titled this episode Heartbreak Monday because I saw a lot of things today in the game. Again, I was at the game. So I saw some things in the game that really made me proud. I saw some things in the game that really frustrated me. We'll get into a lot of those things today. We'll talk about it all because I think they all need to be discussed. But overall, we still leave the game at 9-4 clip, still in the lead spot in the wild card, et cetera, et cetera. So there's some positives. But as Sean pointed out, man, I'm grumpy. Not just because I'm tired. I'm grumpy because this game pissed me off.
Right.
So how was your day today? Why don't we talk about your day real quick? You have a good day?
My day was okay. It was cool. You know what I'm saying? Nothing out of the ordinary. It just seemed like it took forever for game time.
It did feel
that's the one thing about having a Monday night game. That 8:30 kickoff, 8:15 kickoff, whatever it is, like it takes forever. So I was just anticipating, that pretty much, all day today. So I had a good feeling going into the game. I thought we would, we would pull it off, but it didn't happen that way. It's not the end of the world. I hope that the city doesn't overreact as we tend to do. Had a couple of my buddies I had to talk off the ledge, today. I was like, it is what it is. So let's go ahead and ask you about your day. How was your day, man?
Pretty similar to yours. Excuse me. Just a long day waiting for the game to start. I had no intentions on being at the game or going to the game. I was going to watch it here. And my brother came home. My brother lives in Houston, so he decided he was going to come home and go to the game. And he literally called me, or text me rather, on the plane before the plane landed, like, yo, you want to go to the game? And I'm like, dude, it's like 4:30, 5 o'clock.
Right.
So, I had to kind of scramble to get myself together. But, when those types of opportunities come, man, it's a Monday night game. It's a big game. Cleveland hasn't had many big games late in the season. Damn sure not in December. So, I wanted to be there in case we were going to be able to turn the corner. And unfortunately, tonight we weren't. So,
how was the atmosphere down there, man?
It was great. Actually, it was really good, especially early on. It was really good. People seemed to be very engaged in the game. It's a little different with the whole COVID thing, getting into the building. You got to go to wherever your seats are, that you have to go to a certain gate. So,
okay.
Everybody can't just pour in through one gate or whatever. So you have to figure out which gate you're supposed to be at. They got social distancing inside of the building. You can't sit in certain rows. You can't sit in certain seats. So, it's well thought out. The logistics it's apparent that they did, do some level of consideration on the whole deal.
Okay.
But
it looks like on TV, and I know they're doing it, for TV to make it look more full, but it looked like it was more than 12,000.
I said the exact same thing. I was, I was in my seat and I'm looking around like, man, it's easily 30,000 people here. It is not 12,000 people in this building. And I mean, to be honest, you and I have seen this stadium packed. We've seen it empty. I think it was more than 12,000 people. Just saying. I ain't trying to put nobody on front. I'm not
Right.
trying to, get anyone in trouble, but it looked like it was more than 12,000 people to me. And I didn't do any counting, so I don't know. But I mentioned it to my brother, and he was like, "Oh man, it's 12,000 people down here with us." Like in our section, maybe. But the atmosphere was great. It felt very playoffy. There were a number of Ravens fans there. I got into it with a few of them, and not like for real got into it, but
Right.
you know me, I engage everybody.
You're typical with what you do, harassing people
Yeah,
at
I
the
just kind of back and forth banter, nothing serious. It wasn't. Nobody was upset. We were just going back and forth. So, uh, we just, and then the game got going, and we were down, and so, and I'm just speaking of the atmosphere right now. When we got down, it seemed like it was dead, like it was dead. I think everybody was probably one bad play away from just walking out of the building, and the guys kind of turned it around. So let's discuss this game. Again, as you guys can tell, I just told my brother as I was getting out of the car, I have to go in here and do this show. And I'm trying not to be the maddest dude on the planet. I'm really trying not to be completely frustrated, but I am frustrated. This game was frustrating to watch. I've said it for the last few weeks, definitely, but I've said it sporadically throughout the season. We're not good enough to lead points off the board. We are not good enough to do that. Our defense isn't good enough to do that. And it actually, for the first time in a few weeks, we're talking about a loss, and that leaving points off came back to bite us in the ass. We lost by 5 points. We missed 4 points just in our kicker alone. And I'll get
It was really 3. That last 2 was just on that safety.
I don't care. He missed it. And then we had to go for 2. So what if we didn't get the 2-point conversion? You got one damn job, bro. Kick the ball through the yellow thingies. That's it.
Right.
That's all. So, but I ain't gonna kill that dude right this second. I'm gonna kill him. I ain't gonna kill him right now. And you and I had text early on. Great opening drive. The Browns had an awesome opening drive. It looked good. It looked well thought out. It was very well orchestrated. It just was bang, 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 bang. Touchdown Browns. Gave everybody instant juice, instant energy. We felt good. It gave us, especially being up 7-0. Now you give them the ball. So even if they scored, you're like, at least they just tied it up. They didn't go up 7-0 on us or whatever. So it was a good feeling. And literally they went, the Ravens went right down and scored on us. Like boom, 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 score, touchdown. And I said, shoot, it's going to be one of those games, like this back and forth kind of shootout thing.
Right.
But because they did that, I said, going into that second drive, it's Nick Chubb time. Like, you just give Chubb the ball, slow them down, keep our defense off the field a little bit. And I think that's how we could control the game. And that didn't happen. And that's on Kevin Stefanski. Baker threw 47 times tonight. That's unacceptable. I've said it for forever. We're not going to win many games with him throwing more than 30 times. And he threw 47 times. And some of those throws, I know we were down at a certain point. Some of those throws were unnecessary. And here's what I mean by that. There was times when it's 2nd and 7, or hell, how about the 2nd and 1, where you could just run the damn football and get the first down, because you got to continue to keep the drives going. You don't always have to try no pass. Sometimes you just need to do the regular shit We're
Right.
not good enough to do that stuff yet. I know what he's trying to do. And I'm talking about Kevin Stefanski, not Baker Mayfield, because Baker doesn't call the plays. Baker's just doing what he's supposed to do out there. Kevin Stefanski has to understand something. You cannot put your team in bad situations, bro. We are not good enough to get ourselves out of them. And we actually pulled our asses out of our asses.
Poured on my ear, right. Because not
correct.
only that, man, remember, we fumbled 3 times in the first quarter.
Yeah, absolutely. Twice. Was it twice on the first drive?
Something like that. It was twice on the first drive, yeah.
Because Higgins
3 times overall.
and then Landry fumbled twice on the first drive.
And got through that. Got down by 14 in the first half. Got through that.
It got through that. But here, I had issues with Stefanski most of the night. After the first drive, that is. I think he called a great schematic first drive. And then after that, it just kind of was like, I didn't see what his point was.
It was a weird game. It was very weird game plan. Here's one thing that I learned about our coach today. And I didn't see this at first because of his demeanor. So even killed. Stefanski is crazy. Stefanski is nuts. And now when I look back at the other games, now, I see it. With the trick plays, and it's like he keeps doing them.
Elaborate a little bit.
Yeah. On that. Okay. The game plan going into today, this game plan that he had today made absolutely no sense from a football and personnel standpoint, and he almost pulled it off. I guess whatever his reasoning was, whatever they saw on film, and they said that we're going to attack. We're going right at the Ravens. We're going to attack them. They have two good cornerbacks, a very ferocious pass rush, which is something that we have not handled well, during the season. And he said, we're going to go at these guys anyway, and we're going to keep doing it. And he almost pulled it off. The 2-point conversion early, we could have just made it, cut it to 7. He was like, we're going to cut it to 6 and got lucky on that. That was a crazy, ballsy call. And then
if DPJ is not back there, then that's just a missed opportunity on that 2-point conversion.
Right. And then you look back at some of the other games with the gadget plays, and he keeps pulling them out, and they keep work. He's not doing it a whole lot, but he still does at least 1 or 2 a game.
Like that third down, like the third down last week, Jarvis throwing it to Baker. That almost was an incompletion. Like he almost threw him out of bounds. But he ended up making the catch, getting the first down. So I'm like, why are you doing that when you could just run it?
Right. So although I didn't agree with the game plan, as much passing as we doing, the one thing I do like is that and I'm having a hard time with this doggone stand here. The one thing I do like is that he doesn't show any fear. He's like, I'm going at these cats, and we're going to attack him. And I said he almost pulled it out. But I do what I want to see going forward is still using our bread and butter, which is our run game. And Chubb still had, I don't know how Chubb got 82 yards or where he got those 82 yards.
He barely, listen, I looked up at the screen, they play or they show certain stats of individuals in the corners of the stadium. So I looked up, and Chubb had run one like a 2 or 3 yard run, and I looked up, and they were showing his stat. The dude had 6 carries for 44 yards, and I was like, it's almost halftime. He only got, first of all, he only got 44 yards. Second of all, I don't remember where he got 44 yards from. Period.
Right, exactly.
Like, where did he even get those 44 yards? And when you look at the number, like when you do the math on that, I'm like, that's 7 yards to carry almost. But Where from where? You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
where did that come from?
So I think he had 17 carries for 82 yards and still got
Right.
2 touchdowns.
Yeah, he had
So
he had to open
he
it in.
still, despite not getting his normal load, he still had a productive game.
I just felt like he should have had today. Should have been one of those.
Yeah.
And that's why I chose this pick. This was after his second touchdown tonight. That's why I chose this. Where am I? Okay, there you go. I chose this one as my background because to me, this guy should have been getting a rock and he should have controlled the game. And it still would have made Baker, because as accurate as Baker was today and as productive as Baker was today, that wasn't going to change because Nick Chubb was running.
Right.
It just wasn't. It wasn't. Like, again, you called it best, in this situation. It's your bread and butter. They could not stop our run, and we were gashing them on certain runs. It was only when they knew that we were going to run that they played us well in the run.
Yeah, true. Right.
So, I'm glad that I wasn't the only one. Donnie was a little bit flustered. My brother was a little bit flustered with his Stefanski's, play calling and stuff like that. Another snafu that he had in the end of the quarter. Now, I knew that we needed to do something well when we had the ball at the end of the first half. I said, we got to do something, even if it's just a field goal. We got to do something. We came out.
Right.
And that drive might have been the worst drive we had all game. It was a penalty on Donovan Peoples-Jones for offensive pass interference. They didn't replay it in the stadium, so I couldn't see it, and it was on the other side of where
they
we
didn't
were.
show it on television either.
So I'm guessing it must have been some sort of like a pick play or something, because the pass didn't go to him. So my thought was he must have ran a pick route or something, and they called it. Now I'm gonna say something else too. The referees were absolutely horrendous in this game. I'm not making an excuse, but these referees were awful. They were awful. I don't know that.
Yeah, like how do you miss 15 guys on the field?
Come on, man. Listen,
how do you miss
behind
that?
the Ravens. Our seats were behind the Ravens bench. It was at least 15 people on the field. When I kept yelling, like, hike it, because they're still running off. He hikes the ball. It's still 2 people running off the field. I'm literally watching. They're running right towards me, basically. I'm watching them run off the field because our seats were like at the 30, 35-yard line. I'm watching them run off the field, bro. And no flags went up in the air. Not a single flag.
I didn't even know you could challenge that. And thank God we could.
I didn't know it either. But even the Ravens fans were like, wow, that was awful. Jarvis got they missed no less than 6 penalties and called at least 2 that were nonsensical.
Yeah, like the referees this year have been exceptionally bad, and bad to the point where not necessarily this game, but like with spotting the football. They'll give a bad spot, go back and replay it. It clearly shows where the ball should be, and they don't still call consistently.
Like how you still
and that's why you have so many conspiracy theories when it comes to sports, because you will see something so obvious, they'll replay it for 5 minutes and still come back and not change a call. But this was a great game. It was also just a strange game. We can go ahead and get into that. I don't think any of our keys that the Browns needed to win the game, they did none of it at all.
Not a single solitary one.
Not a single solitary one.
Not a one.
Now here's the ironic part. The things that you said that Baltimore was going to do, or that we couldn't let them do, they did. Mainly, Lamar freaking Jackson running all over the doggone field. We said we could not let him. We said we knew we couldn't stop him all the way, but we couldn't let him have one of those games where he's out there running like Walter Payton and we couldn't stop him. And that's exactly what he did. The other key that you said was Mark Andrews. Now Mark Andrews didn't show up for
Until
three
that last
quarters,
damn drive.
but damn it, that last 5 minutes of the game.
That last damn drive.
Last 5 minutes, man, he was everywhere, making catch after catch after catch, and that's pretty much what killed us. Like our defense just couldn't
our
stop their
defense,
running game, and they clearly wore down, by the fourth quarter.
Our defense, and that's where, again, I felt like, because my other key, you're absolutely right. I did mention those things, but my other key was our running game. The reason that I kept pointing out our running game was because I thought we needed to control how often our defense was on the field.
Yeah.
So if you keep throwing on second down or throwing on first down, so you threw on first down and somebody dropped the ball, because a lot of this was less on Baker. Let me be clear about that.
It was the whole second half.
A lot of this was less on Baker. Baker made one horrible play. That pick he threw was the worst pass he threw all day. Or I won't say that. He threw a couple bad passes. He threw that 2-point conversion to Kareem. He also threw another pass, I think it was to Harrison Bryant, where he could have just run and got the first down. And he decided he was going to throw it to Harrison Bryant. But on both of those throws, they're very short throws, and he threw it, my favorite phrase, he threw it like he was throwing at a beehive. He threw it fast as hell. Like, take something off of that. Maybe he catches it. But other than those 3 passes, because he threw 47 passes, other than those 3 passes, Baker was not the problem out there today. The problem in most cases when it came to passing was when, kind of the play call or, the guys who were catching the ball. Because the only people that were getting yards after catches was Jarvis and Kareem. Everybody else was dropping the balls or getting the ball.
Yeah, and Baltimore was playing very aggressive on defense. They were pressing,
and they
the
always
receivers. They were jamming them at the line, throwing the timing off. And it is one thing where I'm gonna give a kudos. I'm gonna give a shout out to Baker Mayfield for this simple reason. All season long, really his whole career, he's been kind of dog saying, well, when it goes up against an elite defense or against a heavy pass rush, he doesn't perform well. And he hasn't for the most part. But today, he started off like that first half, started off a little bit shaky. He had like a string of incompletions in a row. All of them wasn't his fault. You could tell he was a little bit thrown off with the defensive scheme, but he made whatever adjustments he made in his head, man. In that second half, he had 3 consecutive touchdown drives that he made look easy.
Listen, the kid was throwing darts out there today, man. He was throwing darts.
So I'm gonna give him props because you see the growth with him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like he didn't even look nervous. That second half, he didn't look nervous. He put the team on his back and he took him downfield.
My hesitation today has nearly nothing to do with Baker Mayfield. My frustration today is almost nowhere near Baker. I think Baker was awesome today.
Yeah.
Especially considering us being down. Like, there's some takeaways from this, and I'll point those out in a little bit, but the things that I was frustrated with in the game are kind of glaring to me. And I agree with you. I think that Stefanski is a little bit maniacal. And that could end up being good for us later on. It's just kind of stinking. And
you got to have some anything. You got to have some balance for whatever reason. Today, he was like, "Look, we're throwing a rock now." In the fourth quarter, he did start running the ball a lot more with Kareem.
He did.
Kareem got a lot of carries in the second in that fourth
Kareem,
quarter.
Kareem played well, by the way. I don't, I don't want to make it sound like,
but
my
I agree
thing
with you
is,
though. Like I agree with you. Like overall, the game plan didn't help your defense. So like the defense is your weak point, and maybe he got a little bit excited because the defense made some plays the past couple of weeks, and
so he
maybe
was
he
hoping
thought
that
that
they would
they were
pull it out
coming
again.
along.
And they made some plays. Now listen, they did make some plays, but we're so inconsistent.
Right.
And we were inconsistent in this game. So you can't keep hoping for them to make a play against a guy like
right
against Lamar Jackson. He's the league MVP.
And especially with us, we just don't have the athletes on defense to contain that type of offense.
You have to, and that's a point as we go forward, moving towards April, that we'll get to a lot because we need more athletes on the field. I'm fine with some of the guys up front. I felt like today we had to play more contained instead of blitzing so much because Lamar was finding those alleys, and he broke off 2 like really big runs that really broke our backs. And later on, he wasn't able to run because they said he had somebody had an update on their phone because we didn't know what happened. Again, when you're in a game, don't nobody tell you anything when you're at the game. So we didn't know why he went out or that he had gone out. We just saw McSorley in the game. And I was like, dang, what happened? What happened? And we saw he had cramps. I said, oh, it's his time of the month. He had cramps. So he was gone and, whatever. But the dude comes right back and picks up where he left off. So picking up where he left off, those are the things you need to have a defense that's capable of whoever is on the field. We got to be able to stop those guys. Again, there's some takeaways, some positive takeaways. We put up 42 points on a supposedly good defense. If you ask anybody in the league what's a good defense, one of the first names, if not the second or third names they're going to bring up is the Ravens. We put up 42 points on them. So there are some takeaways. And I don't want to come all the way down, but I am frustrated. And part of my frustration, and Sean will tell you this as soon as I say it, part of my frustration is I actually went to the game and then I had to walk out of that stadium again, like I did for so many Sundays as a loser. There's just frustration. That's the walk of frustration.
And if people don't understand how our stadium is situated, that is a long walk. It is a long walk.
I don't care where you're going. I don't care where you're going.
Just getting out of the stadium takes you forever. And then to walk back to your car is a long walk. It's cold. You frustrated. You still.
All you got is time to pontificate. All you got is time to pontificate all the stuff that did not happen, all of the things that should have happened. And again, I did that. I kept saying to myself, I'm trying to be positive, trying to take away some positive. We're still 9-4. We're still the lead in the wild card. We're still there.
The game wasn't the end of the world,
2 seconds later,
but we really wanted this one.
Oh, but you still lost this game to these sons of bitches. I'm sick of losing, and this is probably the bigger part of I'm freaking sick of losing to the Ravens. I hate the stupid Baltimore Ravens. I hate everybody in our division, rather. Today is the 25th anniversary of the Browns' last home game before they went to Baltimore. And you freaking lose to these sons of bitches today. I was pissed. I was pissed, and I'm still pissed. I'm mad. You can't lose to these dudes today. F the Ravens as a staff, record label, and the crew. That's how I feel about it.
And the thing is, like, when Baltimore got the ball back after we scored, I knew we weren't going to stop them.
Yeah, and I said that too. I said,
I had no
we scored
faith
too
in the
fast.
defense in stopping them.
I said, first of all, we scored too fast. We needed to take our time a little bit, take more time off the clock. But I didn't even see I didn't even see Nick Chubb on the field much during that last drive. You need to run the ball. Just run
Well,
the ball.
now. In their defense, though, it was a minute 44 left with 2 timeouts.
Don't tell me we had 3 timeouts.
They only had 2. They had 2. They burned one earlier. So, you
still got 2 timeouts. And you
yeah,
had
you can
a minute
run.
38.
You can run, but you can't run. And hold on. You can't.
We got the
And you
ball
can't.
a minute and 38 seconds, bro.
Here's my thing. Hold on. Let me say this. Here's my thing when we say we score too fast sometimes. There's no guarantee we're going to get in the end zone. You know what I'm saying? So you have to, if you have a chance to put the ball in the end zone, you got to put the ball in the end zone. So I'm not going to blame them for leaving too much time on the clock.
Okay, good.
I just blame the defense just for not being able to stop them at all.
I'm gonna do both. I'm gonna say, number one, if you can score in 38 seconds, which is what we did, because it was 142 when we got the ball. It was 104 when we scored the touchdown. I looked at the clock.
Right.
We scored too fast. And you're right, it ain't no guarantee. Just like it ain't no guarantee that you're gonna get a 2-point conversion or a field goal or whatever. Right. But you gotta make it happen. Right. So your job is to make it happen. So you scored too fast, and then you turned around and gave the ball to a defense that couldn't stop them to begin with. You got to run some more clock, and you got to learn clock management. Now, here's what I'll say about that, and this is where I was going a little bit ago. That the end of the first half was a lot like the end of the second half. It was situational mismanagement by the coach. At the end of the first half, we had that retarded grounding call where it was clear that Baker had gotten hit and the ball went awry because he got hit, but they gave us that dumbass call. But that was after Donovan Peoples-Jones, offensive interference, and a couple of other just bad play calls. So now you're punting from like the 5 or 6, and they get the ball right at the 46 or 47 yard line.
Right.
At the end of the half. And they went right down, scored a touchdown, knowing that they were going to get the ball coming out of halftime.
Right.
Like you have to have better situational understanding of what's happening. It's not just about, I think this play will work. We got to do stuff that's going to make sense and put our team in the best positions to win. And he did the same thing at the end of this doggone game. I'm not upset that we scored a touchdown. I'm just upset that we scored it too soon. You have to look at the clock and say, let's run this little small play. Yeah, I know you could probably fumble. Yeah, I know you could probably mess up the snap or whatever, and you do need to score. But our defense hadn't stopped them pretty much all night.
Right.
So why are you depending on your defense at this point to do something they have not done?
Right.
Listen, tonight might have been the worst game I've seen Terrence Mitchell ever play. He was awful tonight.
But if you're going to use that philosophy, if you're going to use that philosophy though for that one, like I agree with you 100% about the first half mismanagement, but in the second half, on that last drive, if you're going to use that philosophy, then they should have went for the 2-point conversion again.
I wouldn't have been against that either. To be honest,
at that point,
I wouldn't have been against that.
I was against the first one.
Just don't know what's going to happen defensively. So you do kick the field goal. I understood why they kicked the field goal. It made more sense to kick the field goal. But if you want to be a guy that wants to, hey, listen, we got to win this game because this defense and put some pressure on them and make them have to score. But again, our defense did not do their job late in the game.
Like we can't play shoulda, woulda, coulda, but if we do play shoulda, woulda, coulda,
I'm not. I ain't playing.
No, not you. No. I'm talking about like. So let's say that we did run the clock down. Let's say we scored with like 5 seconds ago, sitting in the overtime. if Baltimore wins that toss, you're probably gonna lose the game in overtime anyway.
Probably.
You know what I'm saying? I
Especially
mean, it was
based
one of
on
them things
that
like
that defense couldn't stop. They
they just
couldn't
want
stop me
something.
by myself.
And you're right about Terrence Mitchell and whoever 36 is. I don't know who
What is that
36
kid?
is.
I forget his name, but
Stewart.
he's off.
He's terrible. And they weren't tackling, man. Like the tackling.
His name is MJ Stewart. He is awful.
Yeah, he's terrible.
It's awful.
Like we can't even get mad at Sendejo today. The only thing Sendejo didn't do was on that 2-point conversion when he came up and hit J.K. Dobbins. Instead of trying to wrap him up and tackle, he could do a kill shot.
He tried to hit stick him.
Right. And bounced off of him. But other than that,
I think he might have a concussion.
Because he was laying there for a minute.
Yeah, he was down for a good little bit.
He was laying there for a minute. But Terrence Mitchell,
awful.
they the missed tackles, like let them get 2 and 3 extra yards here and there. This came back to bite them. Now, well, and we'll see what happens going forward. We always say that. Still a team, unfortunately, that's still young, still learning.
This ain't the same Browns, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I figured, man, the only kind of bad feeling I had, I said the Browns are due for somewhat of a letdown, had won 4 in a row, been kind of skating on a couple of games, getting away with mistakes. I was like, we kind of do. I didn't know when it was coming. Like the Giants game was the one that kind of worried me that we might go in there. I was like, if we beat Baltimore, then we may be a little, overlook the Giants. That was a game that scared me. So okay, so we had our hiccup this game. I do have faith in this team now that they don't never get too down. So they should be able to get this thing revved back up going into New Jersey on Sunday, because we're still in a good position. And if things fall the right way, it may be even a case where next week we might be able to clinch a spot. Because I was looking at the math, and with the Raiders, losing, who else lost? Who's in that bracket? It's the Ravens.
Miami lost.
Yeah, I'm talking about the ones outside of the playoffs. It's the Raiders. It's the Ravens.
Yeah, Miami's not in the playoffs right now.
Yes, they are.
They're on the cusp, but they're not totally in.
No, but based on that thing, the Dolphins have the last spot, right? Unless Baltimore gets moved.
I'm not worried about the teams that's outside of it. I'm more worried about the teams that's could overtake us, like the Dolphins, or like I was rooting against the Dolphins.
No, here's the thing. So hold on now. I'm gonna give you a little bit different perspective on maybe how to look at that, right? So the Browns, we're the top wild card spot, right? So that gives us some cushion, because it really doesn't matter where you fall within that wild card. The thing you want to do, you want to avoid the Chiefs, right? Well, the Chiefs get a first round bye anyway, so we ain't worried about the Chiefs. The Chiefs get a first round bye, so you just don't want to.
They don't lose no games. If they lose another game, let's say the Steelers win out.
Yeah,
only one team is getting that bye, so
right?
They haven't guaranteed themselves that spot yet.
No, but I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put the Chiefs in that slot just for shits and giggles, because that's a team you want to avoid the first round if you're a wild. You don't want to play them off rip, right? So the Browns have cushion, so it really doesn't matter where you fall within the wild card. You just don't want to fall out of it, right? So we have a nice little. So the teams we have to worry about are the ones that's outside of it, that if we go on some type of catastrophic losing streak, can take us over. You see what I'm saying? So I think the Ravens are what are we? We 9-4. The Ravens are 8-5. Miami is 8-5. So maybe Baltimore may have moved up ahead of Miami after winning tonight's game, and maybe now they're in that last spot. So it's still Miami in that last spot.
Miami's still in the 7th spot. The Colts are in the 6th. The Browns are in the 4th spot.
All right.
And the Titans and the Bills,
they're division winners, leaders.
Are division winners.
So all right. So right now, Okay, so right now you got the Ravens at 8-5 on the outside looking in. You got the Raiders at what 7-6, and what's that third team under there?
The Patriots are 6-7.
I ain't worried about them. The way they Cam Newton them playing right now, I ain't worried about the Patriots. So really, we want to get to what 10? I mean 11. So okay, so we still need about 2 wins to clinch, unless the Ravens lose another one. Who do the Ravens play next week?
They ain't playing nobody. They got one of the weakest schedules going forward.
Okay.
Hold on a second. I got you. Hold on one second.
And then look at the Dolphins schedule too.
Huh?
And look at the Dolphins schedule too. Because I think if anybody falls out of it, the Dolphins are probably the team that would to slip up and maybe let Baltimore in.
So next week, the Ravens have the Jaguars. That's a win.
Okay, that's a win.
Like all of their, like this was their toughest game. This was their toughest game going forward for them.
Okay.
And who do the Dolphins play next week? They might have. Oh no, they play the Patriots. That could be a win for them. But that's kind of a 50-50 game. It's a divisional
That's a
game.
50-50 game. So really, I'm thinking.
Then they play the Raiders out in Vegas, week 16.
That's a 50-50 game too.
Dolphins, and then the Ravens play the Giants in week 15. So that could be, I say that's a 60-40 game. I would pick the Ravens to win that.
Right.
And then the last week of the season, you have where are we? The Ravens play the Bengals. That's a win.
All right, that's a win. All right.
And the Dolphins play the Bills, which could be a loss.
All right, so I'm going to assume that the Ravens will win out. That'll put them at 11-5. The Dolphins aren't that good. The Dolphins got a pretty good defense. Because they hung with KC.
Offensively, they got issues.
Yeah, so I'm thinking, 11-5. Get this in. So we just got to handle business these next 2 weeks, man. We got to go into New Jersey and handle business. I think we'll be okay. Hopefully this game pisses off the Browns to no end. And you just got to be smarter. And not on the players. I'm meaning the coaches, man. Let's just get back to our bread and butter.
We can't go into that goddamn Jets game and think that we just gonna walk away with a win either.
Oh, the Jets?
I'm serious. That's what we have to understand that this is playoff time. And you got to play every game like I'm trying to get in the playoff.
Yeah, that's true.
We can't take those games off at this point.
No, but I think the Jets are at the verge now. They pretty much done quit.
I think so too, but you don't want to listen.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah.
There's a reason that there's only been 2 teams that go 0-16.
Right.
So I ain't taking no shorts on nobody.
No, you don't.
You gotta go into that game and understand that, man, y'all can lose this game too. And you, the Cleveland Browns, want to be the team that lost to the Jets.
That would kill. If we lose to the Jets, we're not going to the playoffs.
Huh?
Is that if we lose to the Jets, we're probably not going to the playoffs.
And hell, if we lose to the Jets, we probably shouldn't.
Shouldn't. Like seriously. So I think that we're okay. Just got to go and handle business. It would have been so nice to get this game.
No, we okay. And yeah, I agree with you.
Just getting this game would have pretty much solidified the playoff spot. We would have knocked our rivals out of the playoffs because I do not want to see them again this year. I really don't. So that's a disappointing part is that we had it. We were right there. Made an unbelievable comeback. Showed some heart. Showed some grit.
Great comeback, and it was great to be in that building and feel like as a Browns fan. Now, see, this is the first time all night my face lit up. It was as a Browns fan to feel the energy when you think we might actually have this. Because I said this when we went down 14 the first time. I said, you know what? We could all be pissed off, but how we finish this game will tell me a lot about this team.
Yeah.
And to have them come back, like I had people on my Facebook talking about, oh, the old Baker, because we went down 14 after Baker threw that pick.
Right.
Oh, the old Baker. See, he's it. Like y'all just waiting for the shoe to drop.
Yeah, exactly.
No, you have to give this guy an opportunity. I don't know if y'all know this or not, but Patrick Mahomes threw 2 picks in one quarter and had a fumble in the same quarter. 3 turnovers in one quarter, and all they did was end up winning that game regardless. I was watching the game, so I know that that's what happened.
Yeah,
my point is everybody does dumb shit in games. Everybody makes mistakes in games, but to just sit and wait for a guy to make a mistake and then pounce is weak. That's weak, man.
Yeah, that's starting to piss me off, because this idea that Baker has to be perfect or he's not any good is really
But that's the
getting on
only
my
way that
nerves.
they give him love, though, bro. You right. They only give
After
him love.
this game, and really, in my opinion, after this game, after this performance, right now, like he should like leave him alone, get off his back, because that kid, all he did, he put that team on his shoulders with some dumbass play calling, and led that team, and had 3 straight long
and
drives,
put us in a position
and
to
made it
win
look
with
easy.
the game on the line.
Also, he made play. He stood in the pocket. He didn't run. I mean, as far as like
no, he stepped up.
He stepped up in the pocket, faced that pass rush, and made plays.
He did everything that you want your quarterback to do tonight.
Exactly.
And he's done it for the last 4 or 5 games, because this is the first interception that he's thrown in 5 games.
Right.
The first interception in 5 games. And he threw 1. He didn't throw 2. He didn't throw a whole bunch of dumbass passes. And trust me, we've spoken on this. We've said this. We've revisited this. I don't know that there's a talk show who's been fairly hard on Baker as much as we have. And I said fairly hard. There's a bunch of talk shows that are unfairly hard on Baker Mayfield. We are fairly hard on Baker because we love the Browns. So if you are going to be the guy taking the snaps, Baker Mayfield, we need you to do this. So we approach the criticisms that way. We've had a plethora, we all know this, of quarterbacks who haven't been good. Yet we still supported them, even though we knew that they were awful. I didn't have to sit and wait for the shoe to fall for Derek Anderson or for Weed and all those guys. You knew it was falling. It's just a matter of time. It's happening.
And here's how delusional we were back then, and how much we wanted to have a good quarterback. We thought that Seneca Wallace was going to somehow be the man for a minute. You remember Seneca Wallace? You remember that?
Bro, did you just say the next time you bring up some dude, I don't ever want to hear their name again? I'm kicking off. I'm using my powers as one of the producers of the show. I'm gonna go to you, the other producer of the show, and say, "Hey man, we need to fire that other host."
But that's how messed up we were in the head. That's how messed up we still are, because we've been so negative about our football team for so long that some people can't get out of that mentality. And even look at us right now. Like, I'm proud of you today. I'm proud of you today because you did not overreact and just like throw everything away. We suck, blah, 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 blah. You came with a level head and you objectively critique the Browns, because you normally ain't like that. I normally ain't like that.
No, neither one of us.
You know what I'm saying? but that's because we are real football fans and we know where the Browns have been and we're putting things in its proper perspective. And that's what it's supposed to be. Keep everything. So yes, we're disappointed the Browns lost. Yes, Stefanski called a bad game, but we're not calling him to get fired. We're not trying to get rid of Baker because he had a bad interception. We understand because we look at the bigger picture. Despite all of that, this team fought. They showed some heart and grit, and we put up 42 points on. We did it last year too. If you think about it.
Yeah.
So the thing I'm seeing now, we're not showing that fear. Now the next test is to get over that fear with Pittsburgh. That's the next step in our development. I don't think we're scared of Baltimore. As physical, as intimidating as they can be, we've shown on a couple of occasions, hey, we can go head to head with these guys. We've got to make some adjustments on how to contain that bastard. I'm sick of him. I'm sick of Lamar Jackson. Like as much as I enjoy watching him play as an athlete,
I don't like watching it against me.
Yeah, right. I'm sick of it. You know what I'm saying? Like he causes too many.
Do.
He causes too many problems. Like it's hard to deal with that dude.
Because see, the thing is, like the game that we went to last year in Baltimore, we were ahead by so much. We took that aspect away from him.
Right.
Have the escapability thing popping off, or the Willie Beeman gummy berry juice shit. He didn't have that in that particular game. Tonight, that dude was gummy berry juiced up.
And he was making some fluky ass plays. I'm like, man.
But you know what? Again, a couple of 2-3 of those plays, like that touchdown he threw to Hollywood Brown at the end of the half, that was on Terrence Mitchell. Terrence Mitchell, and I said this last week on one of those, I can't remember, was it last week or week before last? I can't remember which week it was, but the exact same thing happened where you saw, at that time it was a safety. So I saw, I'm sorry, it wasn't a Browns game. I'm thinking about an Ohio State game. That's what it was. But it was the exact same thing. Bad defensive play. If you're a safety and you're looking at the quarterback who's scrambling and you start to have a bead on the quarterback, but you 15 or 20 yards off the line, that means you're allowing somebody to get behind you because you're not doing what you're actually supposed to do. That's the exact same thing that happened tonight. Terrence Mitchell was 12 to 15 yards off the line of scrimmage, or actually a little bit more than that once the play got going. And he had his eyes in the backfield trying to kind of pinch up a little bit to stop Lamar. And Lamar just threw that little pass behind him because his hips were turned towards the pocket as opposed to turned towards.
And first of all,
Hollywood.
When I saw that we called the blitz, I knew that play was doomed from the beginning. I said, why are we blitzing right now?
Did you say doomed?
Doomed. As soon as I saw Carl Joseph on that safety blitz, I'm like, nah, that wasn't the right play.
I'm gonna tell you the God's honest truth. If I'm a quarterback and I see Carl Joseph in the game at all, he's only doing two things. He's either blitzing me or he's playing the run. So I'm going to pass because he's not really a cover safety guy. That's not what he does. So again, I know that's not Stefanski per se, but man, you have to be in pass protection at that point. But they only brought him in trying to shore up the potential of this dude running all over. But you know what Donnie said? You know what I said? And Donnie had to end up agreeing because I kept saying, why are they blitzing this guy? Just contain him.
Right.
Just, like rush and hold the edges. Don't press so hard to get to him. Hold and see which way he's going to keep him in the pocket. You have to be creative. You can't always just do this one thing.
Right.
You have to be creative, and sometimes as you get to the playoffs, and not sometimes, all the times, when you get to the playoffs, you have guys on other teams that are skilled, not just talented, they are skilled. This dude is not a skilled passer. Lamar Jackson. He can throw. He has a very strong arm, and he's aware. So he does make the proper throws.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not a guy that I'm worried. If Lamar Jackson is another one. If you tell me Lamar Jackson threw for 400 yards, I'm going to tell you that the Ravens lost, especially the way that their offense is set up right this second. That's just because you're not throwing for 400 yards, bro. He threw for some yards today, like 200. I think it was 200. But he got most of that in
No,
the fourth quarter.
he threw for 160, and then he had 124 on the ground, but they had 209 total.
But that's what I mean. That's exactly what I mean. And listen, he's efficient. He was 11 for 17. He didn't throw any picks, but we didn't do anything to make him throw any picks.
Right.
He ran for 124 yards. There's no effing way he should have had 124 yards. You have to contain this guy. That's what I was saying on our midweek show. And when you don't contain him, you gave him 2 touchdowns. When you don't contain him, that's what he does. And he keeps his team in the game. He kept his team in the game. That's not a knock on Baker. Baker played a good game. Baker did everything he needed to do or should have done and could have done, short of that pick he threw. That was it.
Yeah, and it just came down to who had the ball last.
It was kind of who had the ball last. It was some missed field goals that happened, or at least a missed field goal.
Missed field goal. Yeah.
We
and
had
Parkey was due to. I didn't know when he was going to have his bad game. I knew it was because that dude had been too good all year long. I knew he was going to have a bad.
My problem with him being bad was that it wasn't like we asked him to kick a 50-yarder.
Yeah, exactly.
And the wind, surprise, the wind was whipping around the building. But it wasn't like, weeks prior.
Right.
When he made field goals. And in the stupid wind, he made field goals. But in a game where the wind was kind of just regular Cleveland wind, and it was cold as some bitch in there. It was cold as hell.
I know it was.
It was cold as a some bitch. Like it's so weird because I come back home, I get out of the car and I'm like, it ain't even that cold here. Ain't no wind blowing here.
No, that damn stadium was a deep freezer. That's exactly what it is.
Down there,
it's been times, man, where I rarely buy food in the stadium, right? It's because I'm a cheapskate. I eat before I go. I get in the game. But the few times I have bought food. There's been times that when I got it was piping hot, and by the time I sat down, it was cold as ice. And that's a 2-minute walk from the concession back to my seat.
There's certain stuff you just can't get while you're down there. Like, I never understand the people.
French fries.
Why do you get not even fries? Look, I might give you fries. I might. But why did you get them nachos?
First of all, those are the ghettoest nachos ever, because you don't get nothing like I want some meat. I want some.
No,
can I get some meat?
Those are Anglo nachos, bro.
Those are kids menu. Now all you get is some stale nacho chips.
Those are Anglo nachos. All you get is jalapenos and
salsa,
all the cheese whiz you want.
Right.
And a bunch of nacho chips. That's it. Yeah, I don't even think they give you salsa. For
them jokers, and they got the nerve to be like $11, so they put that shit in the dog bowl. Nasty ass. Now I don't fool with them.
And then look, I'm gonna tell you something else that tripped me out tonight, because I haven't been to the stadium since the opening game last year versus the Titans.
Okay.
So my brother pointed something out. He said, "Man, are they really giving people RC cola here?" I said, "Man,
Man, you know what the funny thing about
they got to
it's
step
funny you
their
say that.
damn sponsorship games up, bro. How you got RC cola?"
It's funny you said that because I was at the it's a local deli I go to in Bedford where they got pretty good sandwiches. So I went there and got a sandwich today, and they had a whole rack full of RC. And I'm like, I thought they stopped making RC
I
in
was just getting ready to say,
1985.
I didn't even know they made that shit, bro.
Yeah, and they had to know to have cherry RC at that.
Come on, bro.
So they were selling RC instead of Pepsi. No, they don't only have Pepsi.
Yeah.
Well,
Like
Pepsi
that's
must
what
have
they were.
bought
That was
Pepsi
their
must have bought RC or
that
something
was
like
their
that.
mixed drinks, bro. Like they were
Oh
making
wow.
their mixed drinks with the RC cola.
With the flattest
And
pop
then,
on
and
earth.
then
Huh?
they only had RC cola. Like if you wanted to pop, they ain't have Pepsi. It was RC cola. I was tripping on that.
Pepsi, I'm going to look that up. Pepsi probably bought the rights to RC a
They
while
may
ago.
have, but God, listen, if Pepsi could buy whatever they want to buy, I need Pepsi in my building though.
Right.
I
Like
don't want no
RC,
RC cola.
man, RC was the flattest pop on earth.
It take as soon as you open it, you got 20 minutes to drink this pop, bro.
Royal Crown freaking cola. What's
Come
next?
on,
Tab.
man.
They will
Come
have
on,
Tab in
man.
the stadium next week.
So
I don't know.
I'm still a little bit irritated, America. I think it's okay, and I may be a little bit better in the morning. Tonight, though, the raspiness in my voice came from yelling and screaming. I was yelling at the referees. I seen a bunch of bad calls, and I saw a lot of missed calls. It also came from banter with the Ravens fans, but it also came from rooting for my favorite team on the planet, my Cleveland Browns, who showed up and gave me a reason to feel like maybe, just maybe, we're on the right path. Even though I got differences in what my coach decided to do tonight, I think we got the right coach. I think we have the right quarterback finally. I'm not saying that this guy's going to win us 5 Super Bowls or any of that stuff. I just think that we got a guy that's stable enough that we can try to build around him to see if he's the guy.
Yeah, his confidence is coming back.
So, and that
Finally.
is huge. That swag, and Sean has pointed that out. There were times early in the season where we were like, a couple of seasons ago when he felt quote unquote dangerous, he had this little swag about himself. And he played well when he felt that way. But we hadn't seen that consistently enough. What we've been seeing recently though, I can't even almost give this dude any criticism. And that's saying a lot. That's saying a lot because I didn't come into this season that way. I'll tell you that. One thing about us, we're going to be honest with you guys. I was critical of Baker Mayfield, and I've been critical of Baker Mayfield. So is Sean. But we're going to give the most honest opinion about what we think is happening and what needs to happen next. Because our bigger concern, as Sean pointed out a little while ago about bigger picture, our bigger concern is the football team. We don't care about your personal feelings and your little,
right.
whatever ego trip you on. I couldn't care less. I care about this football team because whatever 54 dudes are on that sideline under those helmets, I'm going to be doing this the whole time. So
and
I
I'm really
care about the team.
And I'm ready to get back at it, man. Now, the thing that sucks is that we got another late game Sunday. So it feels like the next game is like 2 weeks from now.
That's exactly how it feels.
Don't it? It feel like the Giants game
That's
is 2 weeks
exactly
from
how.
now. I'm
But
ready to
listen,
play like now. I'm
I
ready to
was
go.
thinking that when I was setting up for tonight, I was saying to myself, like, damn, we'll have another late ass night on Sunday. Because I think the Sunday night games are later than this game.
They do, because you got all the extra pomp and circumstance and
Yeah.
extra commercials, because that's the main
Because it's
showcase game for
an
the
NBC
NFL
game,
during the
all
week.
that
Yeah, you
stuff.
have all that extra stuff, man. So that's going to be a later game, but just waiting for the game to happen. So we got to watch all the other BS. And look, and I want to give a personal message to the local affiliates. Okay. Now, when the Browns aren't playing on Sunday or they're playing late on Sunday, that doesn't mean that you have to give us the worst possible football lineup possible. You left us with the Cowboys and the
And the
Bengals.
Bengals.
Why?
I didn't care about neither one of those teams. First of all, I hate
Why?
both those teams.
So because the Bengals are in our division,
it's regional.
And it's regional. I mean, you have the ability to show whatever you want to. Now, what was the other game? The other game opposite that was the Chiefs and the Dolphins.
Yeah, I was watching that game. That's the game.
Yeah, but that game got out of hand.
And then it got out of hand
when
the Chiefs went on a 30-point run. So that got boring.
In about 5 minutes.
Boring. And then it ended up getting a little more interesting later.
Yeah,
because
Miami brought it back.
Miami brought it back a little bit. So, but it did get boring in the middle. I ended up watching Parks and Recreation.
Right.
Which I love. So it wasn't no.
I haven't watched that, man. I need to check that out.
No,
is it similar to The Office? Is it dry? Like that dry humor?
Oh no, it's not dry humor at all. It's hilarious.
Okay, it's in your face. Okay.
Do you watch The Office?
I love The Office.
So it's similar to The Office.
But The Office is kind of dry. The Office has.
I was getting ready to say, but see, you ain't let me finish.
Okay.
It's a lot like The Office, but it's way looser than The Office. The Office is very kind of contained. Like my wife kind of hates The Office. She don't understand why I like it. I'm like, I like it because it's inappropriate, but it's inappropriate in pockets. It ain't totally inappropriate. You have to.
And plus, and on top of that, Michael was one of the most ridiculous characters in the history of television.
I don't even always understand Michael, dog. Like, what are you doing, bro?
You ain't got to understand. He's just funny as hell. He makes no sense.
Mike,
all right.
But
all right. Since we can't give game balls today.
No, you already know. We got a rule. I'm setting a rule.
We don't get game balls on losses.
We lose, ain't no game balls.
And the thing about it, I was thinking about if we had one who I was going to give a game ball to. And it really wasn't, besides like Baker, individually, it would have been like a team one. I was like, it wasn't nobody that really stood out. You know what I'm saying? Especially like on the defensive side.
There was nobody on the defense that would have gotten one from me. Now, I know, you know what? I'll take that back. Olivier Vernon was very active early.
Yeah, he was.
Olivier Vernon was very active early. I don't know what happened late in the game. But let me even rephrase that, because there was times when Olivier was the guy who pushed him out of the pocket. Now, Myles Garrett was playing versus Orlando Brown Jr., who was a humongous individual. And he was holding him, literally holding him almost every single solitary play.
And they still weren't calling.
There's one thing that you got a guy in here and you just hold him up. That's fair game. But when you got a guy here and he can't go over here, that's holding. And he was doing that all night long. But there was no call. There was no holding call on that guy.
None. Really, for the last 3 weeks, since Myles Garrett has come back from COVID protocol, he hasn't been getting any holding calls at all, man. They got this guy wrapped around the neck, almost dragging him down to the ground. Really, all the Browns.
He ended up getting a half a sack tonight with him and Sheldon got a half a sack. or whatever. But he's been um
Shit.
quote unquote.
Adrian Claiborne a couple of times came around that edge and they dragged his ass down and didn't call nothing. Adrian Claiborne
Oh yeah,
on,
yeah, yeah.
on a couple of plays.
Like I
So
don't understand how they're continuing to allow that to be okay. But again, like you say, that at some point you gotta stop that bullshit. That's
the
bullshit.
referees have just been on some BS.
And
Now
the rest of them,
I think
that
I think what the
that
NFL Goodell tried to do is like, okay, these guys haven't had any training camp, no offseason, nothing. It's going to be sloppy. Let's try not to muck up the game and slow the game down. And we're not going to call
but you're ruining.
holding this
Listen,
often.
but you
That's
can't.
what he was.
Here's and maybe he did. But my problem is being a guy that played any sport. I've always said the same thing to a ref. You can't pick and choose when you're gonna call some shit.
Right.
You got to call that shit. If if I foul this guy, then call the foul. However, on my end, when I get fouled the exact same way, you need to do the exact same thing.
Yeah. All you
It's
want is
not about,
consistency.
oh, I don't want to slow the game. Like all that extra stuff that they add into it and that the media adds into it, because nobody wants to see a slow game. Man, fuck that. Excuse my language. Because rarely do I use that word on this show. Fuck that. You have to call what's necessary to make the game right.
Or just be consistent too.
That's what I
Like
mean.
too,
You got to
like
call what makes
even
it right, man.
right. I
You
don't
can't.
think they called if I remember correctly, man, I don't think they called a holding call on either team. Maybe one.
They did, but it was usually on the defense.
Yeah, they called defensive holding.
It was like defensive
Now,
backfield holding, but it was never
right,
like the offensive holding type stuff. It was
right.
never the
Now,
holding.
one thing the referees haven't had a problem with is calling defensive penalties. They be all over those.
And that's
Even
bullshit.
even they miss some of those, man. They'll miss some obvious PIs.
How do you miss some of those and then get all the other ones right?
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you what, Jarvis caught a screen pass. He caught one screen pass, and he got a face. You saw it.
Yeah, his face. He turned his head, and you missed that, and that's an open field.
Her head around it, just like that, and the referees were standing right there. How do you miss that? How did he?
That's why you have
Willie Snead was offensive holding on Zendejo. I mean, had his whole outside of his stuff and was pushing him away from the outside, dragging him and holding him. They ain't call nothing.
It was a couple of plays too where
what's that other running back, George or Gus Edwards rather? Yeah. I mean, and I'm not making excuses. These things happen, but they ain't call nothing.
Yeah, just the inconsistencies.
And
all right, man.
Pick and choose how that's gonna happen.
Right. All right. To be honest with you, I'm sick of talking about this damn game.
I'm mad.
And we lost.
And I'm frustrated. And
I got a whole beer in there. I'm trying I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna give you some dumb shine logic, right? Trying to, go on this weight loss journey. Inconsistent, but I'm kind of weaning myself. I know if I go cold turkey right now, it's not gonna work. So I'll go a day here without meat. Then I have kind of treat myself, trying to get into a rhythm, right? Beer is one of my main culprits. I've been doing good with the beer. So I had 2 tall boys for the game. I only drank one. I got another one in here. Here's where my dumb logic is coming in at, right? Now it's about what? 1:30? What time is it?
It's 2:00.
It's 2:00. Now
yeah.
I have no business, and it's a Miller High Life at that, the champagne and beers. Sitting in there ice cold. Now I have no business drinking that at 2:30 this morning. But you know what my logic would tell me? Sean, go ahead and get rid of it so you won't drink none of it tomorrow and you can start not having no alcohol for the rest of the week. And that's the dumbest where really I should just have willpower and it should be in there. And I just don't drink it. It just be in there and I just don't drink it, right?
I tell people this all the time, nigga, I got the willpower of dust.
But and I have to get up early. I gotta get up early in the morning and go to work in the morning. But you know what I'm gonna do when we end this podcast? I'm going there and drink that damn beer.
You're gonna smash that beer, and it's gonna be the best beer you ever had. And you know what you're gonna say to yourself? I should have got 3.
And why I'm gonna drink it now? Because I'm getting more and more pissed as I sit here about that damn game. It's really like setting in now.
That's where I was when I came home. Like I didn't have a lot of beer at my house before the game. I had enough to watch the game per se. But once I found out I was going to the game, I started drinking what I had to watch the game. Right. Just because I knew I wasn't trying to go to the game and have beer and all that at the game.
Right.
So I started like drinking and trying to, get myself to a certain point. And then, I go to the game, come back home, and now I'm like, damn, I only got like 2 beers because of how that happened. And which is okay, having 2 beers. So I drank one of the 2 beers while we were doing the show. And as I continued to talk about the game, I was like, I'm about to take a shot, man. Because I got pissed off again. And I kept saying to myself, like, if I get pissed off, I already know where I'm gonna go. I need to chill out. So I'm like, I'm gonna take
because what's pissed me off, what's making me pissed off right now is that the Ravens are probably landing right now at Baltimore Washington International Airport. BWI. Ain't it called like Thurgood Marshall Airport now or something like that? It's some It's some black man's name on the name of the airport. Whatever. They're landing there right now happy. Ecstatic. And my team is sitting at home and thinking about they're probably replaying everything in their mind about how they could have won that game.
They know they dropped the egg tonight, man.
They dropped the egg. Right.
The Browns dropped an egg tonight. I'm not gonna act as though I'm happy about it. I'm not gonna shortchange what happened either. Sean, I'm glad that Sean was able to pick up because I was trying not to be the angry, frustrated, set the entire building on fire, Ron that I've been. I've really attempted to turn, because one of the responsibilities as a person with a sports show is that you do have to be, you can be emotional, and I want us to be emotional, but you do have to be responsible. So I'm not trying to lead people down dark alleys, because trust me, some of the conversations that Sean and I have had, you need one of them halogen 1,000 candle watt light flashlights to get down some of those alleys. We've been down some dark alleys to conversations that we've had over the last 30 years of our life, and 30 more years that we existed with one another. So
very, very dark times.
I don't want to drag everybody down that way. However, the one thing about our show that I enjoy is that I do want it to be a regular show. I don't want it to be what everybody else does and how everybody else talks. And, the points are always like, oh, we're just talking about the points. And, and we also are sponsored by these folks. So now we can't talk about this person or that person because they sponsor this. No,
right. It's like today, we dogged RC Cola because we have no contractual obligation to them. Screw RC Cola.
RC Cola is possibly the worst cola. I would rather drink Faygo Cola.
Oh man, that's pretty bad. Faygo was pretty bad.
I'm just saying. I mean, because Faygo ain't that bad, but RC ain't that good.
No, Fago is bad, man. Fago, like back in the day when you had those old ceramic sinks, you pour some Fago down a ceramic sink, it'll stain the whole damn. It'd be that orange ring around the damn drain. Fago. So imagine what that shit was doing in your stomach. Like
Listen,
Fago. Don't eat Fago. I like the Fago
nah,
red. And I like the Fago
that red
cream
pop.
soda.
I love the red pop and I love the grape. But see, back in the day when Fago was 25 cents, I used to go when my cousins lived in East Cleveland. They lived on Mayfair. Shout out to EC. Shout out to Mayfair. Shout out to Hayden. We used to go to the Hot Sauce Williams on Hayden, get like a little snack pack, which is like, I think at that time it was like $3.25. You get 2 or 3 wings and some fries with sauce on everything. Because I think it was
Eat some
$2.75.
Wonder Bread. Yeah, get it.
They bumped it up a little bit, and then I could go next door to the Save More and get me a grape pop, a Fago grape, man, in a can. Game, set, match. I was set for the whole night. That's how good Fago used to be. Fago was like Welch's grape. Like, we wasn't getting the Welch's grape back then. You would get that Fago for 25 cents though.
Yeah.
You made it happen. Like all that Fago stuff, the red pop, they cream soda did bang, by the way. That cream soda was
good. You know what kind of killed Fago though? Like when Slice first hit the market.
I agree with that.
When Slice first came out,
Slice was great.
That kind of killed the Fago phenomenon for a minute.
Yeah, Slice was great.
You know what the best red pop was though, in my opinion? It was a tie. It was a tie between, huh?
You said it wasn't Fago?
No, the best red pop to me was a tie between Tahitian Treat and Cherokee Red by Cotton Club.
Now, let me tell you something. 2 things. One, Tahitian Treat really wasn't a red pop.
Okay.
And I only say that. I'm only saying that. I ain't saying that to foo-foo what you're saying. I only know that because I worked for Coke back in the day.
Okay.
That Tahitian Treat was different. That was just, it was kind of in its own category. You're talking about a great pop, a Tahitian Treat back in the day. I can't drink it now because I'm sure my kidneys.
It's too damn sweet.
It's too sweet. But man, that Tahitian, when I used to work for Coke, I would mess up cases of Tahitian Treat just so I could take a couple. That's how good Tahitian Treat was to me. Like I loved Tahitian Treat. But I'm also gonna give you all the props in the world on that doggone Cherokee Red.
Because you got one that was ice cold.
I think
Cherokee you can still buy that, but you got to order it. Like Cotton Club now is no longer in Cleveland. It got bought out by somebody, so that the few pops they do make, I think, comes out of Columbus or something like that. But I think you can go online. Yeah, if you want it bad enough, I think you can go online and like order it. But
Cotton Club ginger ale was good.
What's that now?
I said Cotton Club ginger ale was good.
Oh, hell yeah. That was our damn magic elixir when we got sick. So Cotton Club ginger ale.
Absolutely.
And that 50-50 was good as hell too.
That 50-50 go hard in the paint.
Hell yeah. So you got it ice cold.
That grapefruit ass 50-50, yep. That go hard in the paint.
All right, man. So anything else you wanted to touch on with the Browns?
No, because I'm angry and my voice is screwed up, so no. Nothing.
Did you want to touch on the Indians' name change at all?
We're gonna say that for
you want to save it
for the midweek show on Thursday. We're gonna do the midweek show on Thursday.
All right. I did see a potential list of names, and it was the dumbest list I ever saw in my life.
I did see that.
I saw 2 names that actually made sense, and the other 15 names were just god awful. Hopefully,
you saw just 2. You only saw two names that made sense, or
to me, yeah.
Okay.
Now maybe we're looking at a different list. The one I saw was on USA Today.
I saw. So what were their names? We'll talk. We can talk about that. What were the names?
The ones that I liked, it was the spiders, because I think that makes the
Okay.
most sense out of all of them.
Okay.
Although if they do change to the spiders, I won't be wearing any of their gear because I have arachnophobia. I don't like animated spiders. I don't like CGI spiders. I don't like real spiders. So even though that name makes the most sense, if the Indians change the name to the Cleveland Spiders, I will not have any gear because I have nightmares knowing that damn shit is in my room. And I'm not ashamed to admit that. I'm a grown-ass man who does not like spiders.
Man,
Now,
I'm dead. I'm dead.
now, the other one I saw that I liked was the Guardians.
Okay.
The other ones, man, it was like the Buckeyes as an ode to the Negro Leagues, but you can't really do that because of Ohio State. One was going back to the Cleveland Naps. It was just some. What does that mean, though? I think it like something like Napoleon's or something like that back in the day.
It was something like that. I don't think it was about nobody's hair.
Now, somebody had a concept design with the WMMS buzzard, calling the Cleveland Buzzards.
I heard that too. I don't want to be the Buzzards. That's why.
The uniform and the logo looks sweet.
The name like the MMS Buzzard though.
Yeah, the name like just doesn't. Being a because that's because a buzzard is a ratty, nasty bird. You know what I'm saying? So kind of like the Ravens.
They're basically like vulture juniors.
Right.
You know,
yeah, so I didn't like that.
You know, but I agree with you. I like the Guardians. I actually do like the Spiders.
That makes the most sense. If you in a historical context.
I like the Buckeyes. I like the Cleveland Buckeyes. I do. I because it gives that nod to the Negro.
Right.
League.
I just don't think they'll do it because of Ohio State.
They probably won't, but I don't dislike it.
No, I don't dislike it.
Those are my three. Those were my three. So I was very interested in seeing what you thought.
Okay.
But yeah, those are my three. If I had to pick 3 or 4 different things, three of those would have been that: the Guardians, the Spiders, or the Buckeyes. I'm down with that. And maybe I could find something else that we could, possibly do. But I didn't think that they would ever get rid of the Indians because
I didn't think they were going to do it either.
Say were bad. I thought the issue was with Chief, and now they got rid of the Chief, so I thought we were good. But you could kind of see that something else was happening. And once the Redskins got rid of the Redskins, all bets were off at that point. Like it was over.
And I like the fact that, well, you know what? We said we're going to say that we need to table it because we'll get off on a tangent and then we'll go ahead and have a whole discussion.
Don't do it.
Yeah,
don't do
right. We'll say that.
It's already 2:00.
Yeah, and I think we got to have we got to do.
No,
No. I mean, on Wednesday or Thursday, whenever we're gonna do our midweek show, we got to do the NBA preview. We're gonna do anything crazy, but just maybe go ahead and kind of preview a little bit and maybe give our predictions for the upcoming season.
Sure, we'll do that. I thought you were gonna say we need to talk about our picks.
No.
I'm like, we'll do that. I don't want to say too.
The Cavs are 2-0 in the preseason for whatever that's worth, but just looking at the roster just from a distance, man, it's going to be a long season. But I really didn't expect anything more from them. It's definitely a growing process.
The good thing for them is that I'm a Cleveland fan anyway. So,
and JaVale McGee hasn't reported yet. I had a feeling that he was going to be a jerk about coming here.
Who?
JaVale McGee hasn't reported.
Oh, he didn't?
No, he hasn't reported yet. And for some reason, too, Kevin Porter Jr. hasn't. He's been in camp, but he hasn't played.
But I think Kevin Porter is on some other shit. I think he got his legal shit is his issue.
And maybe that's what he's doing right now, handling that. Because he's not a no-show. Like, he's been to practice, but he hasn't.
I think it's his legal stuff.
All right.
I think he's dealing with his legal stuff. So
right. All right. So yeah. So we'll do our little NBA preview on Monday. Then we'll talk about the Cleveland Indians
in the midweek because we
exchange.
got the Indians for another year. This next season will be the last season according to the team.
And I'm glad they're doing it that way too.
Yeah, they didn't just exit out. They gave us time to kind of lament. Because listen, I love the Tribe. I love the whole everything that's been the Tribe. I love it. But we'll get a little bit more into that as we go into the season and stuff like that.
All right.
I don't want to go off on a tangent because we can. But
Right.
it's 2:00. I'm tired. I'm frustrated, and I really tucked in everything that I was gonna, all my anger and frustration. I did a really good job today, so I'm proud of myself. I know Sean did a really good job. Like Sean, listen, y'all don't know the conversations that Sean and I have had over the smallest, minute scenarios in these same exact games. He did not. He was checking for me. That's crazy. That's crazy because that ain't Sean. Because usually Sean is just off, and I'm like, Sean, you gotta relax. You gotta chill. No, you gotta think this. And Sean is. I've said this from day one. I thought Sean would be the one that's most emotional in this show. It hasn't happened quite yet. It hasn't happened. But trust me, I think this show was fixing Sean. Now it just got to work on me.
Right. You know what? I mean, because it has helped me just put everything in perspective. Because one thing doing this show, now that I'm really listening, I mean, I've always listened. I mean, I've been listening to talk radio, sports radio since I was 8, 9 years old. But now when I listen to it, everybody sounds ridiculous. Like going like on a roller coaster ride that they go on, like the emotional roller coaster. When the Browns win, man is falling from the sky. Everybody popping champagne bottles. The Browns lose. Oh, it's everything needs to just coming apart. You need to fire everybody. Baker's. But I was like, you know what? That sounds. And I know you're doing it for shock value to get the conversations going for ratings, whatever. But to me, it just sounds ridiculous. There's no logic to it at all. So what me and Ryan, attempt to do, we try to give you fair analysis, be critical, but be fair and not get overly emotional about it and put everything in its proper perspective. Now, some people may say that's boring or whatnot, because we don't have we're not flying off the hook. We ain't yelling and screaming. Now, it may be a time when that comes. Like the Browns lose to the damn Giants Sunday night or the Jets. You blow those games. Oh, yeah.
If the Browns lose to the Jets, and wait, it has to be something to that. So if they beat the Giants and lose to the Jets, I'm gonna be pissed. But if they lose to the Giants and the Jets, so we go on a 3-game losing streak,
and then fall to playoffs or something crazy, something catastrophic like that, oh yeah, all bets is off. But right now, what I'm seeing from my football team, I'm seeing growth, I'm seeing competitiveness, and that's all that I've asked for in the last 20 years. Just show up on Sunday and play and put forth the effort. So I can't be mad. Like even though I'm upset and I'm disappointed at a game like today, the Browns on national TV still showed the country finally, hey, we here. Yeah, we didn't embarrass ourselves on TV.
They did not embarrass us.
Because trust me, we've done that our fair share of times.
Yeah, and our quarterback didn't look awful tonight either. So that was one of the things that everybody kept talking about. Our quarterback. Oh, your quarterback this, your quarterback that. Oh, he's got more commercials than touchdowns.
Right.
No, this dude has been showing up. He's been doing the work. And that's all you could ask of anybody that's on your team, period.
Yeah, because tomorrow morning, because when I turn on the radio tomorrow morning, the last thing I wanted to hear is Baker sucks, blah, 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 blah. We got blown out on national TV. We're not ready for the big stage. I'm not going to hear any of that tomorrow. Now, what I will hear, you probably going to hear about Stefanski and his play calling and stuff like that. and that's fine because we're critical of that too. I just got tired of the narrative that the Browns aren't ready for the big stage. Baker is a bum. I think Baker is quieting his critics right now. So
some of them, the ones that are hating,
some of them,
that are
right,
just
right,
full-fledged hate.
right,
Because there's some people that are just full-fledged hating right now when it comes
right.
to Baker, and they just wait for the shoe to fall. So I agree with Sean. Again, we're going to be fairly critical, not kind of critical. We're going to be fairly critical. In other words, we're going to be fair about our criticism on anybody. And we're going to base it on what we feel or think, not just
And
off of
guys,
an emotional situation.
right. And one
You
of the
got to
things that we
fair.
want you guys to do, like the guys that are subscribed to our YouTube page, leave some comments. Give your perspective.
Even if you think, even if you're being hypercritical, give it to us so we can kind of have some back and forth.
Yeah, we want to interact with you guys. We want to know your opinions. We want to have debates, and things like that, man. So I know it's not easy because it's recorded. We don't really go live. We could have like an open chat or anything like that where you guys can interact while we're actually doing a podcast. But just put your comments. We do have some people that comment and we respond. So interact with us so we can really get this
Put
thing
some
going.
words
So
in and
right,
make
right.
sure that you guys can feel like you're a part of the show. And we
Exactly.
would like to work on the call in stuff, but to be honest, I think that we want to get our footing first on how we feel. And, it probably will make us a little more protective. However, we need to get call screeners. It's a lot that goes into that people don't understand. So, I have a ton of people that ask me, yo, when can I stream the show? When can I, listen to it? Is it call in? Because I'll call in. It's a process to all of that.
Yeah,
I like the process that we have. I like inviting people in too. Honestly, the people that we've invited in, I enjoy that. It's a really good setup. However, that's not where we are, and we'll just continue to evolve as we continue to go. So again, we appreciate you guys. We're gonna try to get some level of rest. I know I am. I know Sean probably will too, but
I
I
know
know
you're
for sure
tired. I know you had a long day.
I'm
Going to a
exhausted.
football game on a work day is one of the longest days you're gonna possibly have.
Yes,
And so I know you hungry, tired. So we're gonna go ahead and sign off here, America. Once again, thank you for tuning in. Check us out, Two Guys in the Mic 216 on YouTube, Two Guys in the Mic 216 on Instagram, Two Guys in the Mic 216 on Facebook, Two Guys in the Mic on Anchor, Spotify, Apple iTunes, Google Podcasts, all streaming platforms. We are available. The show should go up. Hell, by the time
I look
y'all
forward to
listen to
putting up
this, the show
tonight.
already up. Yeah, ain't like we're
We're gonna
doing this
put it up
live. So
tonight.
yes, whenever y'all actually hear the podcast, that means that it's up. So anyway, you guys have a good night. Have a good night. Ron, have a good night. Get some rest. Go Browns. I hate the Ravens. I hate y'all even more. I hate Michigan. I'm ranting right now. I hate everybody. So
Yeah, I'm mad frustrated when I rhyme. Every time I do this, just frustrated right now. I'm just frustrated. However, I love y'all, all of our listeners, all of our subscribers. Sean, I love you, dog.
love you too, man.
And we will see you guys in our midweek show on Thursday. All right. Peace
All right.
out. Love you.
Peace out.